Okay, good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Friday Spotlight feature. So today's feature, I have shared my screen. Can I please have a thumbs up from everyone to make sure that you can see the screen? Thank you very much. Okay, today's session is going to be recorded and it's going to be recorded and posted onto our Mesh Group YouTube channel. So I have placed the YouTube link onto the chat. So if you please look at the chat and visit our YouTube channel and subscribe to all our updated video recording. Okay, and in this session, you notice that I've muted everyone because the session is rather short. So I will not take any question during the session. Please post all your questions onto the chat and I will reply to you after the session. Okay? So I think we have waited long enough. Let's kickstart our session. Okay, so today's session, we're going to be focusing on how do we import results into our mesh system. Okay, so in here, I'll show you how we will So I will show you how we will first import the subject outcome as in the final results. At the same time, if you also want to manage the assessment results, we also have another function to import the assessment results. But to import, before we can do this import assessment results, there is two prerequisites that we have to make sure we've satisfied before we can do that. That is, we have to make sure we have the assessment result grid set up, as well as the assessment task. Okay, so let me quickly go through some steps to show you how we can set up how do we import the final outcome or the final results of the student. So first we'll go to our compliance tab over here. And then under compliance tab, we have to select academic progress, which is the second option from the top. Okay. Once you select that, you will see this submenu. Go all the way to the left, to the right, my right, correct. Import subject outcome and select this. So this page is now split into two halves. The first half is to generate a template. So we want to generate a data template, okay? And you will fill in all your required criteria like the year, the semester, the calendar that you have created, as well as select the subject, okay? And also the class, the timetable that you have created. Once you have fill in all this filter, just click generate template. So it will generate a Excel file with all the required data listed in there, which I will show you in a little bit. Okay, so you would have gone into the Excel file and fill in all your results. Then you will come back into, now this is step 2 of the page, which is the second half of the screen. So in here, you will find the file that you have, the Excel file that you have saved with all the final results, and then click upload. Once you have upload, all the data will be listed down here. Okay, and you just simply need to select and then validate the data. So if the data are all correct, then it will say that you will see this message saying that the import status is ready to be imported. Okay, so that means that this data are now ready, and you simply need to just click on the import to update results. Import to update data, and the data will be now imported, or the final results will be now be imported into our screen, into our system. So what you see here is this is the successful import because it's showing you that data has been imported successfully. So by doing that, you have already imported the final results for this particular subject into a group of the students. Okay, so this is the final outcome. Next is we can also import assessment results, but that is prerequisites. Okay, so we got to first make sure that the first prerequisite is we got to make sure that the assessment results grid is being set up. That is under the under admin module, configuration and setup submenu, and scroll all the way down to assessment grades. This is where, other than the results grade refers to the final results. So assessment grades is the assessment of individual assessment. So we need to have this grid set up first, okay? And then next is we also need to set up the assessment type or task in our system, okay? Simply go into compliance, again, choose academic progress. This time start from the left. Over here, you have set assessment. First, you have to set up the assessment task. What sort of assessment task is required for this respective subject? Okay, once you have set that up, go to the next tab, which is the task entry. So here you will link the task that you have created over here to the respective subject. Okay, once we have these two prerequisites set up, we can then simply go in and choose, instead of import subject outcome, you now choose here import assessment results. Okay, so over here, the top bit, this is very similar to the import subject outcome. You select the data generated template, fill in your criteria, select the class or the subject that you want to import the assessment of, the batch that has been assigned to, and just click generate template. So once you do that, again, the Excel template will pull up with all the respective information. And then all you need to do is to go in and fill up the template, save it. And after that, come into the next step, which is the second half of the screen. So notice how they are very, very familiar, very, very similar to the subject outcome. So you just choose the file, click upload. So you upload the data, okay? And then once you have uploaded, just validate the data. And so it's now, say once it's validated, it tells you it's ready to be imported. So all you need to do is to click on the import data and it will import automatically. So you will see the data as imported. Okay, so this will then reflect onto your admin screen with the respective assessment results. Okay, so without further ado, let me quickly take you to our live system to show you the real thing. Okay, so over here, we go into compliance. Let's first do the subject outcome. Okay, so go into compliance, select academic progress. Once you select that, you will see this submenu bar. We want to go into select subject outcome. Okay, over here, there is two templates for you to choose. You would want to choose the generate data template. Okay, let me explain to you a little bit later when I show you the actual thing. So with that, I have to filter in my course type as well as my year and my semester. So in this case, I want the calendar to be set to this one. And I will select a subject. So I want to select this subject. And the class, respective timetable class, this is this. That means that these, why do I select here is so they will go in and fish out all the student that is assigned to this timetable. Okay, and once I do that, I just simply click generate file. And over here, you will see the subject outcome. So I mean, as in the file of the subject. Okay, so over here, okay, so you now see the Excel template. So this is essentially how the Excel template looks like for the import outcome. The reason why I said when in our admin portal, when you are choosing your template, I said use the generate data template rather than the empty data template. Okay, this is why. Because with the generate data template, it has already populated all the student ID, class ID, attempts, and all the fields has been populated for you. All you need to do is to fill in the outcome as well as if there's any comments that you want to add on to this student's profile. Okay, so if you would have generated the empty template, it's just simply giving you all these headlines. So you will have to go in and fill in all your student ID, course ID, so on and so forth. So using that second option, the generate data template option would be a lot more user friendly because you don't have to input too many things. Okay, so all I need to do is from here, I just simply need to input my outcome. Say if I go to say 80, 90, 70, and 60. All right, so I just simply save this. Let me save this to somewhere easy to get to. Okay. All right, so I've saved this. All right, so once I save that, I just simply come back to my main admin portal, choose the file that I've just saved. Mhm. Where's my file? Come back here again. Okay, that's my file, right? So I just simply click upload. You see all my data now has been kind of like uploaded onto this screen. So if I just simply say select all of them, you don't have to select all of them. You can select, depending on whichever one that you want to upload. So once I select, I just go into validate data. So it's now telling me data is ready to be imported. So I just simply go in and import the data. So the message will tell me import is successful. So let me check if the data has been imported successful. So I just come in here. I know this is my student. Just go drill into the student profile under the results page. Voila. See, for this particular subject, I have already imported the final results. And if I just going to do a double check again to make sure that all my results is correct. So if I come into student A and go into results part, see how the results is now being updated. Okay, so this would be one very quick way, especially for those of you that have a separate LMS that is working on a separate LMS, and all you need is to import the final results of the student into our system. So this will be a very quick way for you to use. Okay. So you just simply import everything. You don't have to do one subject at a time. You can choose to have all the subjects. The student will have at least do 2 to 3 subjects in a semester. So you can import them all at one go. Okay. So this is how we will import the final outcome. All right. Now coming back to the PowerPoint. Before we move on to import in the main system, we have also an option to import the assessment results. Okay, so we did mention that in order to import the assessment results, one of the prerequisites is to make sure that you have the respective assessment mark being set up. Okay, so simply go into admin, configuration and setup. Under the setup menu, scroll all the way down to assessment grade. Okay, you would ask, what's the difference? The results grade reflects the final outcome, and the assessment grade will only be used for the assessment grade. Okay, once you have set up the assessment grade, just a extra step, just make sure that under course and all the subjects, was actually marked to the respective. So over here, say my subject, which is here. From here, see how it's already grading type, it's already been marked to marks grading. Okay, so just make sure that all your subject, if you were to mark your assessment in our system, then make sure that the grading type over here is being set up correctly as well. All right, so this is kind of like prerequisite 1.1a. Okay, so we have this, and now that we have made sure we know where to set our assessment grade, the next thing is we also need to set our assessment type. Okay, again, go into compliance, academic progress. So under here in the submenu, we have to first set up assessment task. So for example, for me, for my particular subject, in this case is HM 002, I have set up assessment for a written assessment for it. Then once I set it up, I will just go into entry to make sure that this assessment is linked to the to my respective subject. So in this case, sorry, should be this one. See how I have already linked my assessment to my respective subject. Just for checking, if I come over here and choose, because my student would have already been enrolled into this subject. So if I go in here, and you can see that these are all my students being listed, and the respective assessment task has been selected over here. Okay, so for those of you out there that are using our assessment academic progress to mark your assessment, then you would have from here on select the marks and then starts to input. Okay, but we can use this option, input assessment results. So if I come over here under compliance academic and use input assessment results, same concept, use the generate data template instead of the empty template. This is my recommendation. Okay, so select the respective, okay, and select the subject. In this case, I'm going to select this one. All right, and that is this class. So remember how when we say, why do we select this batch, is because we wanted to fish out all the student that is being enrolled into this subject by this batch, okay? And if you have more than one assessment type set up and link, you might want to use all assessment. In this case, I know I only have the one assessment type, so I just simply select that and then say generate template. Okay, so once I do that, you would see the same template pops up. Okay, so over here, and similarly, you have the template, all the headers, as well as because of the template that we choose to generate. So all this data has been populated for you. So again, all you need to do is to either enter any comments or put in the marks. So I'm going to say this one is again 90, 80, 70, 60. Yes, Janice is not very creative in this format. So by doing that, I would just go in again to save it. So now how the name is now say import assessment results, slightly different to just now where it says import subject out final outcome, the outcome results. Okay, so I'm going to just say A and save. Okay, so now that I've saved, simply come back here, repeat the same steps, go into choose files, import assessment outcome. Now simply upload. Once I upload, same exercise, select the student you want, and then just say validate data. So it tells me that data is now ready to be imported. I just go import data. So now this data has been imported. So if I just come back to my screen, to my last results here, okay, so let me quickly refresh this. Okay, see how the results now has been imported into the system already. So all you need to do is to simply select that and log the assessment. So you would just go through the same process as you do, as if, so you will log the assessment and then your next level up will come in and approve the assessment results. Okay, so you repeat these steps. So makes it a lot easier for you to import the assessment results that way. Okay, so this is, let me quickly show it down. Okay, so this would be how the steps that we will input and set up the import results. Okay, so a little bit of teaser for you. In the admin system, all of these steps can actually be replicated if you have access to the teacher portal. So a little bit teaser for you. My next topic would be how do we set up and access teacher portal. So I will show you how we will repeat this same step with just a slight different in terms of ways of doing in the teacher portal. So just kind of like a heads up to you, the next topic will be based on teacher portal. So especially for those of you that have or about to have access to teacher portal, please join the next session. Okay, so this would be the end of my presentation for this week. Thank you very much. Do we have any questions so far? Can you please post it on the chat? Everyone's very quiet today. So no chat. I mean, I will now also upload the PowerPoint slides for you. Okay, I've uploaded the PowerPoint slides in case if you would like to go through the steps, please welcome to download the PowerPoint slides. Go batch-wise while uploading the results. Yes, you have to go by batches because if you because the student is technically enrolled into the batch. So each of the batch that you select will fish out all the student that is enrolled to the batch. So yes, you have to enroll batch wise. You also have the option of doing all batches. So over here, say subject outcome, we have one that is all class format. Okay, so if I go in and choose here and say, instead of singling out my subject, I can say leave it as all. And in this case, I'll leave it as all class. So then when I generate my template, see over here, let me quickly show you an example. This would be slightly different because I've selected all and I know I have set up a template for two subjects. So once you open up, notice how over here, okay, see how it's now taken that all the subjects that we have been set up. So you just need to fill in instead of just now when because I specifically only narrow it down for you to actually, for me to actually generate one subject. So in this case, I have set up timetable for two subjects. So it will fish out the two subject and then I use all classes because I did not go in to specify which batch. So you have the all function. Okay, any other question? So just also the same function actually applies for the assessment as well. So we can go in here, say instead of selecting individual subject, I can use the all subject. So in this case, it will be all classes. And no matter how many assessment tasks that you have linked to each subject, it will pull all the assessment for you. So in this case, if I do that and generate the template, you will see that it is pretty much the same. Yeah, so you have the two subject. I have only linked one assessment task to each subject. So you'll see how here you have the two assessment tasks to the respective subjects. Okay. All right. Is any other question on the chat? If not, then this would be my presentation for today. Thank you very much for attending today's session. I wish everybody a good weekend. And like I said, a teaser for you, the next topic would be on Teacher Portal. So if you have access to Teacher Portal or thinking of accessing Teacher Portal, see how convenient it is. Teacher would be able to upload the results accordingly, as well as marking attendance. Not to give away too much. Okay, so keep a lookout. Stay on this channel. I'll speak to you in 2 weeks' time. All right. Have a nice weekend, everyone. Thank you.